It was May 20th, 2025, in the Guangxi region of southern China. Two of the country's most accomplished cave divers slipped beneath the surface of a deep, isolated pool, planning a routine training descent. Minutes later, the man on the boat watched one diver erupt from the water, motionless. The second surfaced, screaming, then dove straight back down. She never came up alive. The site was the Shenglongtan, tucked inside an industrial park in Nanning's Jiangnan district. On the surface, it looks ordinary, roughly 650 feet long and 490 feet wide. Beneath that calm water lies one of the most dangerous dive sites in Asia. In karst country, two formations are often confused. A skylight forms when a cave roof collapses into an underground river, a flooded labyrinth. A pool is usually a simple, sealed basin. Shenglong is neither, and both. Its upper layers are open and clear, but past roughly 560 feet, the walls fold into dense, intricate cave structures, and at the bottom, the water feeds a hidden underground river. Sonar suggests the deepest point drops beyond 1,240 feet. Much of it has never been mapped. In 2024, a record-setting team reached 827 feet here and still charted only a fraction of it. That depth and glassy visibility had made Shenglong a proving ground for elite divers. In May 2025, two of China's best came to train. Jin Shuifeng from Beijing had 15 years underwater and held the Asian women's deep diving record. Her partner, Zhang Wei, had logged over 150 hours since 2019 and a personal best of 722 feet. They had survived many high-risk dives together. This time, the plan was modest by their standards. A 656-foot descent, a warm-up for something deeper. But the seeds of disaster were already planted. 3 years earlier, Zhang had suffered an inner ear injury. He recovered, yet the risk lingered. And the day before, during a test descent, he struggled to equalize the pressure in his ears at just 394 feet. They noted the warning. Then they decided to dive anyway. On the day of the dive, the team set their safety net. 3 of Jin's own students waited as support divers near 197 feet. A decompression station was rigged at 20 feet. The full plan, including every slow ascent stop, would run 285 minutes, nearly 5 hours. None of it would matter. At 11:54 a.m., both divers entered the water and began dropping fast. In deep diving, the rule is unforgiving but simple. Go down quickly, come up slowly. A fast descent limits your time at crushing depth. A slow ascent lets dissolved gas escape your blood safely. Rush the way up, and bubbles form inside you. What happened next, deep in the dark where no support diver could see, was pieced together afterward by colleagues who reviewed the dive computer data and footage recovered with the divers. What follows is their best reading of that evidence, and parts of it are still debated. The early descent went cleanly. Picture the world dimming, green, then deep blue, then nothing but a dive light on ancient limestone. At 492 feet, Jin turned and checked on Zhang. He flashed an okay, but something was already wrong. Throughout the descent, Zhang kept working to equalize his ears, again and again. On a closed-circuit rebreather, that constant effort disrupts your breathing rhythm and lets carbon dioxide build silently in the blood. CO2 is the quiet enemy down here. It clouds your judgment first. Jin checked on him repeatedly. Each time, Zhang signaled he was fine. They pressed deeper, past the point where the cave walls close in. At 656 feet, they reached their target. Zhang raised his light and confirmed once more, okay, they had made it. For one moment, everything was exactly as planned. In the next instant, it came apart. Zhang lost control. Without warning, he began rising, fast. Jin went after him instantly. By 525 feet, he was already more than 30 feet above her, and in that pitch-black water, she lost sight of him completely. She climbed at nearly 100 feet per minute and still couldn't close the gap. At 394 feet, she found him again, hanging motionless. She tried to signal. He answered only with vague, disconnected movements. Then Zhang switched to his bailout cylinder and opened his backup air supply, a desperate attempt to flush the carbon dioxide poisoning him. It was too late. Before she could react, he lost control a second time and shot upward. Jin grabbed the guideline with one hand and seized Zhang with the other, fighting to slow him. She couldn't. Underwater footage shows him breathing in frantic bursts, wrapped in clouds of bubbles, making no move to release the expanding gas in his gear. By then, he had almost certainly lost his mind to CO2 toxicity. At 341 feet, he clawed for the line, but his hands were stiff and useless. He had lost all buoyancy control. Now physics turned against them both. As they rose, falling pressure made his dry suit and buoyancy device swell, and that swelling drove him upward faster. Inside his body, dissolved gases were boiling into bubbles, flooding his tissues with decompression sickness and erasing what was left of his reason. The ascent had become a runaway. At this point, Jin could have let go. She could have released the man dragging them both down and saved herself. She didn't. She held on, pulling at the line, calling his name into the dark, refusing to abandon her partner. Their combined ascent rate hit 164 feet per minute. At that speed, no human can hold an unconscious diver. Near 98 feet, completely spent, Jin was finally forced to let go. She watched Zhang vanish upward toward the surface. But she had already doomed herself. Chasing him from 656 feet, she had burned through every safety margin she owned. Now her own ascent rate climbed toward 200 feet per minute. She tried to slow it. She couldn't. And no one understood better than she did what that meant. To surface from such depths without decompressing is, in plain terms, a death sentence. Your blood foaming with nitrogen, your body torn apart from within. She broke the surface in agony, screaming Zhang's name. He was nowhere in sight. And then, this elite diver, who was likely suffering severe decompression sickness after so violent an ascent, made one final choice. She turned and dove again, alone, attempting an emergency underwater recompression, trying to reverse the damage by going back down. It was the only thing that might have saved either of them. She never came back up. From entry to catastrophe, the whole disaster had lasted only minutes. The support divers waiting at 197 feet never even got into the water. Zhang was pulled from the surface and rushed to a hospital. He could not be saved. At 12:15 p.m., emergency services were called. Jin was gone, somewhere far below. The search began at once. From May 21st to 24th, divers and robots swept the upper system and confirmed she was nowhere above 590 feet. Given the open, cavernous structure of the site, the team reached a grim conclusion. Her body had drifted down to around 820 feet, but their robot's cable reached only 656 feet. The search stalled. It took until June 12th. A deep-diving robot with a 1,148-foot cable finally arrived, and at 6 that evening, it found her, resting at 783 feet. The recovery was painstaking. Decomposition gases had made her body buoyant, so the team rigged a surface pulley and lifted her in careful stages, bleeding off gas and adding weight as divers descended repeatedly to steady the ascent. At 9:43 p.m., after more than 20 days, Jin Shui-feng was brought home. No official report had been released in the weeks after the recovery. Local authorities declined to discuss the case, saying a detailed account would follow once the investigation closed. Divers and analysts who studied what was known pointed to 3 apparent failures: a rigid dive plan with no margin for error, a partner who kept signaling okay while hiding his true condition, and support divers stationed too shallow to help. Jin once said she never wanted to die in a hospital bed. In the end, she didn't. She died doing what she loved, but her death was meant to be more than sorrow. It was meant to be a warning.